This time
with sound.
Jeez. Okay, welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David.
And I'm Gary.
He's my twin brother. Identical twin brother.
Indeed.
When did we find out we were identical twins?
We're in our 40s. Or
50.
50s, yeah.
You're 50. Okay, so here's the story. First off, this is back in the day, as many of you will remember, when, there weren't these silly things like
genetic testing
or sonograms or anything like that. So, my mom goes in the hospital. She's about a month early to deliver her first son, and then her stomach's not going down. The doctors say, "You're not going anywhere. You got a second one in there."
Yes.
So, no planning, nothing.
Yes.
Here you go. You got two for the price of one.
The doctor told her we were fraternal.
Yes.
And we looked alike. We sound alike.
With the fraternal, it's because you look at the placental sac. And if you were identical twins, there usually wasn't a barrier. And if you were fraternal twins, there usually was a barrier. But in this case, that's only right 70% of the time. So we were the magical 30%.
Yes.
And so I went and had genetic testing done. And my mom's like, "Why? You're fraternal." And it came back as identical.
Yes. So for those of you who are not watching, you're just listening, you might have a little bit of difficulty knowing when David is talking.
And when I'm talking, yes. Girlfriends, wives, they cannot tell our voices different on the phone. Heck, we can't even tell our voices different on the phone.
Like daddy juice there.
Now, back in the days of answering machines, I would call myself, he's done it too, to leave yourself a message at home. Don't forget to pay the PG&E bill. I get home, I play the message. I'm wondering why my brothers tell me to pay the PG&E bill.
Exactly. I've done that too.
Jerk. Okay, so we recorded an hour and 15-minute marathon last night.
Yes, it was glorious. You should have been there.
And you were. And I have my Yeti microphone that I normally use, but I was going to use the computer's microphone. And when I left the house, I was thinking, okay, don't forget to switch the button to the computer's microphone, which I promptly did when I got to my brother's house. So you got to see us miming. We were great pantomimes last night. It was one of the finest pantomime readings that you've never heard.
we could probably dub it in a foreign language for
your
international listeners.
Or we'll just,
we'll do it again.
We'll do it again.
What if we'll get the same answers?
The card's always different, but sometimes the answers always end up the same. Okay, so what questions did we ask last night?
We were asking last night about Prince Charles's health.
King Charles.
He's
been upgraded.
Yes.
3.0.
Yes. So King Charles, the poor guy, he finally gets to be king. Queen Mum finally kicks the bucket, and he gets to be king, and then, it seems like 3 months later, it's like, oh, we got some bad news. You've got cancer. And so there's an article I was reading that was saying that, they might not be telling us quite how severe this is. It might be a lot worse than we're thinking. So that was going to be my first question is, how bad is King Charles's cancer, and is this worse than we think it is?
All right, let's go ahead and take a look, okay? Come on down. Let's take a look. King Charles, let's look at the general reading, the general energy around his health, okay? As always, entertainment purposes only. We're just a couple of random twins on the internet reading tarot cards.
Indeed.
Two random dudes. Okay, so we've got the Hierophant as the foundation of the reading. Hierophant's about big organizations, like kings, churches,
monarchies,
the healthcare system. So we've got, this is kind of like representing the monarchy. What are we going to cross it with? The High Priestess. The High Priestess is a card of divine feminine wisdom. You ask the questions, you get the answers. But it can also be keeping secrets, not telling you everything, answering the question. But if you don't ask the right question, you only get part of the answer. So like the High Priestess doesn't necessarily volunteer information. It's like one of those genies or the monkey's paw where you wish for something, but you're not quite specific enough. So the wish is granted, but it's not in the spirit of the question. It's to the letter of the question. So you've got that gunning over the monarchy. They want to control the narrative. Underneath it all, we've got the Four of Cups. Four of Cups is it's contemplation. It's waiting for opportunities to come in, but it's also like dissatisfaction. Like, none of these cups were like good enough, so they keep offering options, and it's sort of like this is like the king or the monarchy trying to talk to the public and offer explanations as to what's going on. Now, you think about Princess Catherine, and the doctored pictures that folks immediately caught up because they weren't after she had her cancer surgery. Yeah. They weren't telling you the whole story. They were trying to paint a different picture, and they got caught out on that picture. And it's King Charles went in for a health appointment and probably got information that was not what they were expecting, not what they were wanting. But now, how do they let the general public know? And it's really an interesting dynamic because, there's no reason why the royals have to tell you their health issues or the normal citizen. But the royals aren't normal citizens. They're a monarchy. Yeah. They're paid for by the British public. So in some ways, and I hate to say a phrase like this, but they're like a dancing monkey in a cage. And that's not to put them down, but that's kind of like the, tap on the cage, dance for us. We paid for this. We want to know. So there's that balance between respect for their privacy versus we really love you and we're really curious versus, hey,
we paid for this.
We paid for this. We expect it. It's a wild situation. I can understand why Harry wanted out of that.
Out of that zoo?
Out of that zoo. Really, he just wanted to be able to make his own decisions. So that's kind of what we got going on here. The public's not satisfied with the answers they've given us, but, guess what? They don't control the information. The court does, or the House. What am I saying? The royal court does. Yeah. Okay, in the past we've got the Justice card. Well, that's interesting. First off, we've got 3 major arcana right out the chute here. What is the Justice card telling us? It's ironic that the government has been defunding the National Health Agency over there, or National Health Service, NHS. And now between Boris Johnson having COVID and King Charles having cancer and Princess Catherine having cancer, those judgments, what the Tories have done with defunding the NHS is coming back to sort of bite the general public. I should raise you back up unless you want, watching our chest as I'm talking. So it's bringing that funding back because now you have these high profile illnesses and they've all used the NHS. Now you can imagine that King Charles probably gets a level of service that the average person doesn't get.
Better, perhaps,
but just a touch. But and I'm not going because I'm really avoiding saying, "Oh, this is what he gets." He deserved this. So I think that's what's going on. Any thoughts on?
No, let's see what the next card says, and it might make it more clear.
Okay, or it could just muddy the waters.
It could be.
Let's see. Current situation.
Oh dear.
Nine of Swords, stress, anxiety. Again, as Gary was mentioning, he waited how many years?
Yeah.
He's 75. He became king in September of 2022. So.
Yeah, the coronation was like you mentioned. It seemed like just a year ago. Yeah, the coronation was like in May of 2023, but he took over in 2022. So
73 years of his life waiting for this,
waiting for his opportunity, and
he's 18 months in, and pow!
Yeah, gets hit with this, and beyond that, he's a dad. He's got 2 sons, and he's got to think about his health. How is this going to impact his wife? How it's going to impact his kids? And, being a monarch, how is this going to impact the people that he's serving?
And Lord knows if he had any ambitions as to agendas that he wanted to get done.
Yeah.
He's on a short clock. He's on a short leash.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is like, again, the information that they're sharing versus the information that he knows probably doesn't align.
Yeah.
That, when they say it's a slow-growing cancer, yeah, that's what they told us. That doesn't mean that's the reality. Yeah. That's just what they told us. Okay, let's see what we got. The overarching energy here.
That was a card we threw yesterday, too.
I think Gary's nailing it here. The overarching energy is the Ten of Wands, the burden. That the task is almost completed, but it's backbreaking, it's difficult. Imagine being a monarch with cancer. It's a hard enough job to be a monarch.
Yeah.
To do it at 75 with cancer.
Yeah.
This isn't Olympic diving.
Yeah.
You don't get degree of difficulties to get a higher score.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. He's waited his whole life for this, and as soon as he gets the opportunity, you're just like, oh yeah, you get to dance.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're going to have a very short reign here, kid.
Oh.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's got a huge burden. He's got a whole bunch of things he needs to consider and worry about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry, King. This isn't fair. But you know what? They never said life was fair. It's happening for a reason because it sets up William, right?
Yeah.
All right. The lesson to be learned is the Ace of Swords, which also came up yesterday.
Yes, that did as well.
So you've got the sword of truth and justice, but it's piercing the crown, and you can see that the laurels have wilted. So it's like his best days are past him. Mm-hmm. It was almost like the crowning moment for him was to be anointed king.
Yeah.
And he got about a year.
Yeah.
A year of running the country, 6 months to a year of, being coronated, and that before he gets this health diagnosis. Yeah. So in some ways, the Ace of Swords is also telling us, you've got a finite time on this planet, and he knows his time is way more finite than anybody else in his family. Yeah. So if you're going to do what you're going to do, you better get off the pot and do it now.
Like I said in Shawshank, get busy living or get busy dying.
I was going to think it more like Elvis. About poop or get off the pot.
Oh, okay. Well.
Got to get off the throne here.
Certainly has a colorful conversation.
I'm telling you. Get those TV cameras around you there, pal.
And here we go.
Here we go. The outcome is the Sun card. It's interesting. We're going to find out. And probably sooner rather than later about his diagnosis being worse. They're restricting information right now, but information's going to get out. And, in some ways, Charles's time in the sun is going to be short as a monarch. So if you're going to be there, shine bright. Mm-hmm. Because basically he's going to have to cram what would normally be a 20 or 30 year monarchy in about 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I thought that was just a play on words. Maybe that was his son, like William.
Oh,
or Harry.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
I like that.
Is there a daughter card?
Maybe we should change chairs.
No, maybe.
And there you go, Sun card. Play on words. Homonyms. Sun. This is going to set up William. Do you want to follow up with the William question on that, or do you have?
No, I think that's good. So I just wanted to do a shameless plug to make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you like the two of us being out here just being a couple of goofballs, let us know. And if you think we're just terrible at this and you've been doing tarot for 30 years and we don't know what we're doing, tell us that too.
No, don't.
No, that's okay. He reads the comments, I don't.
Yeah. Sorry, nothing more than mildly annoying about, you're biased. You need to read neutral when you read cards. Yeah, I know that. You don't need to tell me that. That's why they have that whole moniker about entertainment purposes only.
Yes.
There are plenty of serious-minded woo tarot readers out there that will give you a woo tarot reading.
Yes.
People come here for the snark. They come here for the sarcastic humor that accompanies the cards.
They may be wooden spoon survivors like you and I
are. Sister's got us.
I showed this to my mom, and she just got this little smile on her face.
Yeah. More than once, a wooden spoon got busted out. More than once, a wooden spoon got broken.
Got broken as well, yes. Hard head, hard
It's funny because she can be mad and hit you with the wooden spoon when it happened like twice. And both times the spoon broke. She's holding the handle, and then she starts laughing. It breaks the mood.
I know.
She was not an abusive mom, and Lord knows she went through a lot worse than we ever did.
Oh my God! Think about it. You've got 2 daughters, and then these 2 rambunctious twins boys show up that you weren't expecting.
The only one of one.
And what we did to that poor woman. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Exactly. That's next week, but there you go. I'm going to find out. Let's look at William here. What's the transition looking like from King Charles to Prince William? Given the energies, is something that's going to happen soon. I just want to look at the energy around that because that's kind of a lot of people's curiosity is the Charles to William handoff here and how that might go. The Chariot. Chariot is the foundation of the card, Major Arcana. It's a slow progression. So I think they've already started the process. It's not going to be overnight. We're not going to wake up next month and on the 4th of July, because I'm sure the Brits celebrate Independence
Day. They love the 4th of July as much as we do, I'm sure. They celebrate it.
I'm sure they do. I was watching a video, sorry for the segue here. A guy was giving this hilarious speech. Do you think England sent their best and the brightest to the United States? Yeah, exactly. No, they got rid of the people they couldn't stand. If you hadn't made in England, you stayed in England. You weren't going to the United States. You weren't going to America. These new colonies.
Oh, I thought you meant the military guys.
No.
Oh.
No. So, back in the 1700s, or 1600s, I had this great idea.
A bunch of people seeking political or religious freedom.
Yeah, they're the ones they didn't want around. So, when somebody says, my family came over on the Mayflower, it's like, that's not the flex you think it is. In Australia, we love Australia. Who did they send to Australia? Political prisoners and criminals.
Yes.
And you look at Australia now, it's like, would you live in Australia?
Probably.
Yeah, I would think I would too. I sure would want to visit. Just because the highfalutin society doesn't want you around doesn't mean that you're a bad person.
They're probably a lot of fun, actually.
Okay. So that transition from Charles to William, I think it's going, but it's going to take its time. This is not going to be a quick transition here. Here come all the major arcana again. Crossed with the star card. William is going to be an amazing king. It's going to be, this is the planning stages. Ace of Wands is coming up with the idea. The Two of Wands is the planning. It's like your business plan. It's looking at sites that you might set up your shop. It's your market research. Mm-hmm. So, yes, this has already begun. This process has already begun. They're looking at how to best transition this to William. But I also think for Charles, King Charles, this is his time to shine. Mm-hmm. There's probably a 2 to 3 year transition plan going from Charles to William. So Charles needs to sit down and figure out what's going to be his contribution to society. Princess Diana, she was all about landmines and getting rid of landmines and that humanitarian work. Charles is going to do something massive as well. I don't know what that is, but he's going to figure it out, and he's going to do that. I think other readers have seen environmental stuff that comes with him, addressing global warming or climate change.
He certainly had a long time to plan it.
Sure. And speaking of planets, he's got it in his hand.
Ah.
So whatever he might do could be a global-wide thing. And that would be amazing to get done in the short time that he does it. It'd be funny if it was also the reversal of Brexit.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God. That card looks familiar.
Yeah, it does. You should shuffle those cards better.
I do. 4 of Cups is in the past. Remember, this card we were reading, it's like, getting that information that you didn't want to hear. He's been waiting. Here's your monarchy. Oh, by the way, you now have cancer.
Yeah, well, if it's William, it's like, oh, by the way, here, we got some information on your dad's health.
Yeah, and also, it's funny. You've got the 3 cups here, and here comes the 4th, and this is like a handoff.
Yeah.
From this to this person right here. Again, I think Charles's reign is going to go about 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then there's going to be the
Or
handoff.
3 to 4 seasons, or whatever.
3 to 4 days, 3 to 4 hours.
The Hermit.
The Hermit card. Current situation is the Hermit card. It's about contemplation. It's about finding your way on your journey. And Charles's journey is almost over with. So I don't think this is a low energy. He's not retreating back into his cave. It's kind of like the step bravely forward and lead the way. You've got the lamp. You've got your walking staff. You have two choices. You can retreat and go back in your cave and be all private, or you can live boldly. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the choice that he needs to make. He can do either one. He's allowed to retreat into his cave and retreat in the palace and just recover and spend time with Camilla and do stuff like that. Or he can go out with a bang.
Make an impact.
Yeah. Okay. That one came up yesterday too. Yeah. The overarching energy is the Three of Wands. As he goes through this progression, we're going to go from the Two of Wands this is the undercurrent. This is the energy that's underneath everything. Here's the energy above it. This is that transition from the 2 to the 3. You've gone from the planning to getting ready to do the execution, signing the leases, getting all the inventory set up. So he is doing that progression from himself to William, and they're going through. He's going to lead the way. He's going to have a lot of say in the handoff. Again, we got that 3 card. With the 3 cups here, I think it's about a 3-year period that we'll go through where he gets ready for that handoff to William. And this also gives William a chance, to get his mind wrapped around this. Him and Catherine, they're dealing with their own cancer issue. Yeah. They've got a couple of 3 small kids. Yeah. So there's a lot going on in this poor family.
Well, it's also King Charles is around still, so if William's got questions or he needs some guidance and some mentoring, he still has Dad around, and that's kind of a nice thing,
Yeah, and also there could be there might be some things that Charles wanted to do that he's not going to be able to do, just doesn't have the time. So there could also be that planning with William. It's like, figuring out, is there any, if Charles's wish, in honor to his father, are there some causes that the both of them see eye to eye on and would move forward with? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I will also notice it's the 3rd.
It is.
Charles, the 3rd. The lesson to be learned is the 4 of Swords. This is contemplation and retreat and taking a lower profile on things. And also it could be, your eternal rest, as it were. Mm-hmm. So I think it's, again, when the cancer diagnosis came out, Charles, I suspect, is a rather introverted person. And, you've got to stop and think, what are you going to do? What impacts are you going to make? What's going to be your crowning achievement in this? How do you transition from yourself to your son? And, what guidance can you give him on this one? Again, Charles waited 73 years to be king. William's only going to be waiting about 40. Mm-hmm. The outcome is the 7 of Coins. Coins are about wealth and health. It's an evaluation here. I think that part of the driving factor is, how is Charles feeling? What's his health like? How is his health progression over time? Mm-hmm. And that's going to drive this whole thing. They may have a plan that's based around this health, and he might say, I want to rule as long as I'm healthy enough to rule. But it could also be that, let's have a timeline, because what time I have left, I don't have to die in this office. Mm-hmm. A lot of the folks that do watch this channel that have grown up in England or Great Britain have commented that there is no succession of the throne. They die on the throne. Nobody steps down voluntarily. And that could very well be the case in this one. And maybe it's a purely American thing, thinking that we would like to see that succession. We'd like to see him step down and hand over to the reins to his son. Mm-hmm. And it's not because we don't like Charles. It's just that there's a lot of empathy for him. It's, you've got cancer and it's likely terminal, and you're 75 years old. You'll be 77, 78 years old when you hand it over, or maybe if even that long, it might be sooner. Wouldn't you like to spend a less stressful time in the latter years of your life with your wife? Get to enjoy the trappings as opposed to being told what to do and when to do it.
Yeah.
We'll see. I do think so. In summary, with Charles handing over to William, it looks like there's a succession plan that's already beginning. Whether or not Charles dies in office, dies in the monarchy, I don't know. And I'm not getting the vibe from this that he does. You might be surprised.
Yeah, let's find out.
Your thoughts?
Just,
you want to die on the throne like Elvis?
oh my gosh. It's just a tough hand to be dealt, I'm sure William was kind of not expecting to take over the monarchy quite so soon. Yeah, at least let the kids get a little older and more independent before you take on the weight of the country,
Oh, but in some ways, I think he's got to be much older than Elizabeth when she took over, right?
Yeah, but she had a lot less going on in the 50s.
Who's the monarchy in World War II?
Was it? It was Elizabeth's dad.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry. Don't leave it in the comments. Okay, so this time with sound.
Yes, much better.
As opposed to us pantomiming.
I don't know. Maybe it's better without the sound.
All right. We're going to end the reading here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your kind words, your thoughts, your prayers.
Your positive comments on the quality of his interpretation.
Yeah, tell me all about the bias that I had in my reading here. A monarch hater or a monarch supporter, whatever. Everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithms, this video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. Yes, twins. Going to try and do more readings with my brother because, well, it's just fun to visit.
Yeah, it is. It is. We have a good time.
Yeah.
Hopefully you had a good time.
Yeah. And then, there's silly things like I can do like this.
Ow.
Take that.
Stop.
He's such a jerk. Ow. Oh, that hurts.
Yes. That's the advantage of being identical.
Okay. But thank you again. We'll catch you on the next video. Take care.
Bye.